Hello, friends. Today we're talking all about doing less. We're seeing a shift now from big, giant signature courses with a bunch of modules to much smaller, more digestible courses, as well as other shorter forms of content. Today, we're talking about how you can do more with a lot less. You're listening to the Optimize Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Barnes. I'm a customer journey marketing strategist, and I help you maximize sales by optimizing the customer experience. Most people who create an online digital product want to create a signature online course. The reason for this is they get to package all of their knowledge all into this one big, giant, comprehensive program that's going to give their audience everything they need to know about whatever topic that they're an expert in. While there are some people in your audience who may be looking for that exact thing, there are quite a few people who want something a lot smaller, something a lot more short form, and something that's easily digestible. Whether you've already created your signature course or you have yet to still create it, there's good news for both of you. If you have already created your signature course, the easiest thing for you to do is to break up your signature course into smaller mini courses that focus on a particular area or a particular topic. This will allow your audience to kind of pick and choose the different areas of the area that you're an expert in, and they can focus. Let's say if you're a baker, maybe you have one section on cookies, you'll have another section for bread and another section for cakes. And people who are coming to you maybe just want to learn about cakes, or maybe they just want to learn about cookies. Now, if you have a signature course on just cookies itself, you can break that down even further. You can have the different types of cookies, you can talk about icing, you can talk about a lot of different things. And the great thing about going smaller is that you can get a lot more in depth on that particular topic, as opposed to trying to talk about 100 different things. This way you can focus more on, let's say, icing, the different variations of icing and the different methods, some quick ways to do it, some more advanced techniques. And this will allow you to not only showcase and highlight your breadth of knowledge on this particular topic, but it gives the audience different ways to approach a certain topic. So different ways to approach icing. Some people will like a quick and fast method, while others may want a little bit more advanced technique to make their cookies look a little bit prettier. Now, if you don't have a signature course, the good news for you is that you can build up towards creating that signature course by starting out with a lot smaller mini courses. Again, instead of breaking down a bigger signature course, you'll work on building it up. You'll start with one area, let's say cookies, and then continue to add different topics on top of that, such as cakes and bread. So within the course, you're going to have the lessons itself, and you want them long enough that they get the information that they need, but short enough that they can get that quick win. Now, you don't want to have a mini course with 50 mini lessons, but you also don't want to have a course with 2 lessons that are like 90 minutes long. So you want to make sure that you find the happy medium to make sure that you can still capture the attention of your audience while still making sure that they have the relevant information. The shorter lessons tend to work out better because you can focus on one particular topic or technique and really hone in on the different areas or mistakes that people typically make within that certain lesson. So for example, if you're doing cookies and you have a topic about icing, you can either break up the lessons based on the different types of icing, or you can focus on different styles. Either way, you want to make sure that at the end of the lesson, let's say it's only a 5-minute lesson on one particular technique. If you show them exactly how to do that particular style, show them a few areas where they may make mistakes or some few trouble or challenge areas, talk about those, and then give them the opportunity to go and try it for themselves. So this is kind of how you want the pacing of your course to be. You'll have a lesson, give them something to try and to do, and then have them come back for the next lesson. That way they can continue as they finish each lesson, they can kind of get a little mini win at the end. So it's like, oh, cool, I've learned this technique, so let me go ahead and try it. Once they've tried it and they can see that they can actually do it, they're going to be excited and eager to get to the next lesson. So you want to create this momentum within your little course. So those short lessons provide that space to get that quick win. Okay, so that is creating your mini course and creating the lessons within it. We want a short and quick mini course with fast-paced lessons that get them those quick wins. All right, now the next thing we're going to talk about are these challenges. And what I mean by challenges are those 5-day challenges that you see a lot online. These are great in terms of like this boot camp style of learning. And we see other online marketers do this quote boot camp style of marketing where you learn a lot within 5 days. And we're seeing people get burnt out on these 5-day challenges to the point where people are making them even shorter. So instead of a 5-day challenge, there is a trend now to do simply a 3-day challenge because a 5-day challenge can be so much information. And a lot of people tend to drop off around the third day. So making it a 3-day challenge is a lot more feasible and still keeps up that momentum and excitement. Now, there are some of you who may be wondering, well, how do I fit everything that I had in a 5-day challenge into now a 3-day challenge? And trust me, the answer is not as hard as you think it is. Really, what we're trying to do is instead of trying to create a bigger win during those 5 days, create something even smaller. Now, you may get some pushback on this and you may feel resistant to doing this, to doing a lot smaller of a transformation. But trust me, we are a lot more advanced than we think we are, and we think our audience is a lot more capable than they actually are. Now, I'm not saying that our audience isn't smart, but as human beings, we can get overwhelmed very easily. Have you ever started a project and given up within like the first 5 minutes because it was just way too much? So when we create these challenges for people or create these little workshops or anything like that, we want to make sure that we're giving them enough space to work through whatever it is that we have them working through. And if you can find a smaller bite-sized version of whatever it is that you're trying to do, even better. So let me talk about a very simple example of how you can execute something like this. All right. So imagine a task that you do every day. Let's say, for example, how to wash the dishes. Now, this is something that we do and we don't think a lot about because we do it almost every day, or at least I do. I have to wash the dishes every day. And we're not talking about stuffing dishes into the dishwasher, but actually washing something like a plate or a bowl. Now, imagine teaching this to a 5-year-old. You have a bunch of dishes on the counter that all need to be cleaned. You instinctively kind of just start grabbing whatever your particular method is of washing dishes. You instinctively start to grab dishes and start washing them and then putting them away. And to us, it seems as simple as get some soap, get your sponge, scrub the dish, and put it on the dish rack. And to us, that seems very simple, but to a 5-year-old, seeing a bunch of plates and cups and forks and things like that on the counter can be overwhelming. So let's break this down to make sense to our 5-year-old. Now, you want to get them a quick win so that they have the satisfaction of being able to do something. Once they know that they can do something, they're eager to learn more. One of the easiest things to wash when it comes to dishes are plates. Cups and bowls can be a little bit finicky. Forks and spoons can also be a little bit tricky. So let's just take a small little plate and say we're going to clean this little plate. So we go ahead and we grab our plate. Okay, we have our plate. I'm showing an invisible plate on Instagram, on YouTube, but we have our little plate. And what's the first thing that we do? The first thing that we do is we rinse it. And we typically want to get the water nice and warm so that some of the food that's stuck on there will come off pretty easily. So first step, we take our little plate, place it into the sink, and then we heat our water up so that it gets nice and warm. Then the next thing we do is we rinse off any kind of residue that's on there as much as we can. Then we take our little sponge and we add a little bit of soap. And if this was an actual course, maybe you have some techniques on how to put soap on the sponge, but basically just take a couple of drops, put it onto the sponge. You may have some other techniques like placing, you have a little dish where you have water and you add dish soap in it and you just collect dish soap from there. Like I'm telling you, there are 100 different ways that you can go about this, and all of those different techniques you can talk about in your online course. But again, we are just teaching simply how to wash a plate for our 5-year-olds. We got our plate, we have our sponge with our soap, and then you show them how to gently scrub the plate, how to hold, and then you'll maybe talk about how to hold the plate so that it doesn't fall, break, or crack. So you show them how to hold the plate. Then we start scrubbing the residue off the plate. We get the front, maybe there's some stuff on the back. Then we rinse the plate and then place it into the dish rack. Easy peasy. Our 5-year-old can do it. And this is a very simple lesson. It's not complicated, but to them, it's a huge win. So, in similar thinking, when you're thinking about your online course, what's a version of washing a plate? Now, we have not washed all of the dishes on the counter, but they have now learned the basics of washing the dishes with this one simple plate. And now that they can do that, they felt like they've done something. This gives them a sense of accomplishment and the motivation to keep going. Now, this little plate washing lesson could be part of something bigger, like how to clean your kitchen. And then an even bigger umbrella course would be something like how to clean your house. It's maybe your course is chores 101 or something like that, how to do basic chores. And there are so many things that chores could encompass. And there's different rooms, obviously, that involve different chores. Like there's the kitchen, for example, and then you have the living room where there's vacuuming involved and maybe cleaning and wiping the windows. But somebody may just want to learn how to just clean their kitchen. They just want the basics of how to wash the dishes. They want the basics of how to mop the floors. That's it. And so what you could do is create a smaller course that's just about cleaning the kitchen, but you can include some extra examples, some extra lessons in there on how to really get that kitchen clean. That way you can focus on one specific topic and still add a ton of value. Now, in terms of creating a challenge version of your course, so like a 3-day mini challenge on how to clean your kitchen, maybe your challenge is simply just how to wash dishes. And so on the first day, you are cleaning a plate. And then on the second day, maybe we're doing cups and bowls. And then on the third day, silverware. Something along those lines. But essentially, we're getting that little mini win every single day during this challenge. Now, the challenge itself could be 3 days, but you could definitely add 2 more days of support calls, some little extra activities or bonus activities, or maybe an even bonus webinar. But the core challenge itself is condensed into 3 very simple days. This is a lot easier for people to wrap their head around. And again, it creates a nice momentum for them to get that quick win. So by the 4th day, even though this would technically be the 4th day of the challenge, this could be the place where you add in a little mini webinar for those who are really eager to keep learning. And then this is going to be a really warm audience that's going to lead very nicely into your signature course. Or if you're doing a mini course, then this will lead nicely into your mini course. Ultimately, at the end of the day, whether it's a mini course, a signature course, a 3-day challenge, a 5-day challenge, we just want to create enough momentum so to feel like that our ideal client is winning. As long as they're winning, then they'll keep going. But as soon as they start to feel stuck or get overwhelmed, they have a good chance of quitting, in which case it's your job to pause, make some space, give them some space to process whatever information that you've given them, allow some time for implementation, and also allow some room for questions and answers. And don't just quickly answer questions with a quick, simple answer. Really dive deeper into exactly what it is that they're getting stuck on. So for example, if it's a child who's saying that they're washing a plate and it's too hard, then you really want to dig into that. What do they mean by too hard? Is it because it's hard to hold the plate? Is it because they don't know how much soap to use? Is it because a bunch of numerous different things? Really dig into exactly where they're getting stuck. This is going to allow you to do 2 things. 1, it's going to help you get the support that your ideal client is looking for. And 2, it's going to help you create more content around the challenges that your ideal customer is facing. Then you can preempt those challenges by creating that content early on. By focusing on the really little things and getting really granular when it comes to your teaching, it's going to really allow you to understand your ideal client even better. Because the more that you give them space to learn a topic, the more that you give them space to make mistakes and face those challenges, the more that it's going to help them grow, because you're not moving too quickly. We've seen sometimes we'll have like a signature course with like 20 different lessons, and then I'll see a bunch of people getting stuck on lesson 1, and half the class has already moved on, while there's a huge chunk of people who are still stuck on that lesson 1 and they haven't moved forward. So in the meantime, the teacher keeps on going, but the rest of the students are falling behind quickly because they still can't get over that initial hurdle. So again, when it comes to creating any kind of content, really start small, really see where the hiccups are, especially in the beginning. And then this will allow your clients again to get that, not just get that quick win, but it helps them feel safe. It helps them feel safe in doing the work because they know that you're going to be there. They know that you're going to be there to help them. And that's going to build a lot of trust, and it's going to go a long way into helping them get that transformation. All right. I hope you found this helpful. Originally, this lesson was all about how less is more. And while that is actually still going to be the topic of this podcast, I realize there's a lot of good ideas on how to build and create your course. So if you are still trying to build and create your first course, I invite you to join me on the first offered fast track waitlist. So this is going to be a new offering that I have. This is still going to lead into the optimized online community. But if you are struggling to build out your offer and create your first course, then I invite you to join me over at firstofferfasttrack.com. Again, firstofferfasttrack.com. This is going to take you to the wait list. Go ahead and sign up. Now, I won't have anything for you until about July. I will still be putting out some content like podcasts such as this, but the challenge that I have coming up, I'm still working on it, but it's going to be amazing. I'm already working with a few students on the first offer fast track and getting that all put together and packaged up nice and neat, but I'm going to be relaunching this again in July. So if you're interested, again, head over to firstofferfasttrack.com. All right, that is it for me, friends. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you sign up for the first offer fast track, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.